Hello, it's the 30th of May 2020 and day 75. I mean, that means I'm in my 11th week. I did start a week earlier than the general, when I was told to start the 12 weeks. Anyway, whatever. Okay, historical record. They reported 215 deaths today in the UK from coronavirus, giving a total of 38,376. R, which is the figure that tells you how many people one person can then infect with coronavirus, is currently running between 0.7 and 0.9, which is good, currently. They made a point of saying there had been 4 million tests done in total, and 172,000 yesterday, although that might include tests just being sent out and tests being done more than once, being counted more than once on the same person. We don't know. And they also said that there was 2,445 people tested positive yesterday, which I'm a bit confused about because at some other point it was said that there was 8,000 a day, and can't see it now. I'll come back to that. But apparently 8,000 people with COVID-19 currently in hospital. Now, I don't normally watch the briefing, but I get the summary in the news. But I did watch the briefing today, and it was kind of interesting because the government keeps saying, oh, they follow the science, and they're trying to point the finger of blame at scientists. But today, as well as the government representative, which was the Secretary of State, we also had the Deputy Chief Medical Officer of England stood there, and he made it quite clear that scientists give advice and that politicians decide. It is not scientists who decide. So that was one thing. And then, as regards following the science, several scientists on SAGE, the Scientific Advisory Government for something or other, they have made the point regarding relaxing lockdown. Well, Professor John Edmonds said that it was a political decision and that many scientists would wait before relaxing the lockdown. And Sir Jeremy Farrar, who's a director of the Wellcome Trust and a member of SAGE, said on Twitter that test and trace needed to be fully working first before we relaxed lockdown. Whilst two other SAGE members, Professor Peter Horby and Callum Semple, said it was still too early. Oh, here we go. On the SAGE meeting of the 23rd of April, they estimated there would be 1,000 infections per day by mid-May, but the Office for National Statistics suggests there are 8,000 new infections per day in England alone, and that is not including in hospitals and care homes. And this Deputy Chief Medical Officer, Professor Van Tam, said that the easing of lockdown was a dangerous moment and stressed we had to be very cautious and keep an eye on things. Now, an Observer journalist asked a question which was based around Boris Johnson, who said that he'd listened to the Cummins defence and accepted it, and that it was time to move on and all this gubbins. But Boris added that it's up to the public to decide. Well, the Observer journalist pointed out that there's a petition which has been signed by over 1 million people calling for Dominic Cummins to resign. And he asked the question, what do you think of that? How do you respond to that? And Secretary of State just trotted out the same government line and said that Boris had accepted Dominic Cummins' defence and completely ignored the thing about the public point of view. Whilst Professor Van Dam, the Deputy Chief Medical Officer, said that the rules were clear, had always been clear, that the rules were for the benefit of everyone and the rules applied to everyone. And there was a definite split between the government view and the scientific view. And whilst the Deputy Chief Medical Officer didn't actually say Dominic Cummins, he didn't really need to, because the Observer journalist had already said it. So that was a bit of a moment. Meanwhile, the schools open on Monday. Tory MPs are calling for a change in the 2-metre social distancing, i.e. reducing it. And sport is apparently going to resume behind closed doors from Monday. We're talking about football, rugby, cricket, horse racing, Formula 1, tennis. Can't think of any others. Yeah. Whoopee. Anyway, what about my day? I haven't done a lot really. Had a look at my little cage with the bird food suet cake thing in it. Little birds are going to it now. Saw a few little birds going there. Blue tits, gold tits. Nice. Also got joined in the garden by a little black and white cat. Lovely little cat, very friendly. Bit too interested in the birds though. So I had to shoo it away, but not before stroking it a bit. It's a lovely little cat. Seen it before. My cat's not too keen, obviously. Anyway, I'd suggested to my pals Jake and Tony that we should have a video conference style meeting together, and today we managed it. All three of us did a Zoom meeting, and it was good. It was nice, and I even saw Jenny Arnott and Carol Kay. So, and Suzanne had a little shout, saying hello as well. So yeah, it was really nice. Jake did tell us that there was a J.J. Cale documentary on YouTube, and I decided to watch that in the evening, and it was quite interesting. He's a sort of bloke, to be honest, his albums have all got the same sort of vibe to them, but they are nice. They've got a gentle sort of shuffling rhythm to them. Could make you dance. It could. But anyway, watched it, learned something. I never realised J.J. Cale was a stage name. His name's John Cale, and there was already a musical John Cale, so he was told to get himself a new name. Well, it was given to him by the promoter. So I watched that, I quite enjoyed it, and after that I watched episode 2, series 9 of Taskmaster. Don't know if you've ever watched that, but it's good fun. It's good fun, and it has occasionally has really stuff to help regarding my stepfather. And that's it, really. Enjoyed the sunshine, sat outside. This time with a coffee, but I did have a leffer while I talked to my pals. So that was good. Anyway, that's been my day. So if you haven't seen Taskmaster, have a go. But for now, I'm going to say bye-bye. See you tomorrow.